Hi there, beautiful souls watching. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I'd like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights. So here we go again. This one is about addressing some questions that came up, and I don't even know how to do it, but they will help. They said it's necessary to clear up some things. Okay, I try my very best. So here we go. One question that comes up quite often is I was asked by a very sweet person, so there was nothing like accusation in that. She asked, like, out of a lack of knowledge or understanding, how can you be retired as a medium if your guides are working 24/7? Yes, I know that question. I'm already a bit sick and tired of that. They have no bodies. You're just projecting your human measures onto the spiritual world. They have no bodies, they don't have to pay their rent and their bills, they don't have to cook, to eat, to clean their house, so they can be, and they all are, ready to work with us 24/7. But I am still human. I have to do all the things I don't like, pay bills, go to the grocery store, and so on. And they even told me, if you don't care for yourself the highest possible way, get enough sleep, be relaxed, and follow your own inner impulses that you get from the spiritual world, all of you, not only me, because I'm medium. We are all on the same page, and we just are so used or trained by false beliefs, education, brainwashing, however you want to call that, to project our own assumptions onto the other. So I hope this helps to clear up something. And another question I get quite often and had some discussions in the beginning of my mediumship with some clients who came like that. Oh, you have this wonderful gift of having contact to the spiritual world, and how can you even take money for that? Well, it's more or less the same kind of thinking or viewpoint that's projected onto something that's just of another sphere or something like that. It's like as if you want to compare apples with pears, and they're two different fruits. You don't go out to the bakery store and say to the baker, "Oh, you have this wonderful gift. You can bake bread, and you have to give it for free to everyone else because it's a divine gift, and you're not going to pay €3 or €4 for a leaf of bread." So that's more or less the same thing. I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my insurance and the gasoline and everything like that. So I'm taking something in exchange for the service I provide when somebody books a session with me. And I still stick to really moderate prices. I'm not taking $500 for a reading. It's up to everyone else what he is doing with whatever his impulses spiritually, mentally, or emotionally are. So I hope this helps clear up some things. And there was another thing I want to address. Um, I was asked why I do speak in English to the English speaking people watching this, and why I don't do this in German, my mother tongue, for the German people. And I should do that. So I have to stop right there, because if someone else thinks that you should do something, this needs some addressing words. You know, you probably don't know yet your own soul mission or soul plan. And I don't know either. I just have the direction to work with my mediumship basic features I have and I learned about. So, and I know where I want to go. I want to go home, whatever this may be. And it always starts inside, not outside. So if you don't know your own soul plan, how can you say to someone else, you should do this or you should do that? I mean, the Elohim that I channel told me there are only 3 types of matters. Your own ones, the only one you should really care for and work with. The matters of the others, they are none of your business. You don't even know your own soul plan. So how can you talk to someone else about what he or she should do or should not do? Mind your own business. That person is already busy with his own or her own life path and trying to find the right direction or where he or she wants to go. And I can only admit, yes, my experience told me that's really right what they told me. And the third types of matter that exist are the matters of God, the divine. And he or she, this bigger consciousness, knows better than you and me what to do and what not to do. So, I would like to address this question with a story from the Buddhist tradition. It goes like that. There's a master walking along the riverside, and there's a pupil, some other pupils following him, and they walk and they walk and they walk. And then one of the pupils is distracted and he looks into the river, and suddenly he sees a person that's very close to drowning in the river. And he's shocked. He thinks, oh, I have to help this person. But he looks at the master, and the master is just walking on. And so he's confused and he follows the master, kind of blindly. And then after a while, because the master is not showing any kind of reaction to the problem in the river with the drowning person that the other disciple perceived, so the disciple addresses the master and says, "Master, stop, please." And the master stops and turns around, looking at the disciple. "What is it that you want?" And the disciple goes on, "Master, there was a person drowning in the river and you just passed by. Shouldn't we help this person and save him from drowning?" And the master answered, "You saw the person drowning. You felt the impulse of saving the person. I, as a master, I can see his life plan, and I saw that it was the choice of his soul to drown in this river. So there was nothing I or even divine source could do about that, because it was a lesson that soul choose. Who are you to interfere with the choice of a divine soul?" Well, it ends there, more or less, the story, and leaves you with a lot to think. And I really love that story because we are so trained to always interfere into others' business or whatever and to project our own assumptions. It's about the impulse. The disciple who saw the person drowning, he felt the impulse. So it was his call to action, even if it would have been in vain, because he couldn't rescue the person. And the master already knew that. I'm not a master. I wouldn't even dare to call myself a master, but I know that there is a greater, a bigger plan, and I'm not interfering with other people's plans. I try not to because, we're doing so many things without being consciously aware. I had so many clients coming to me. There's this one very good example, a man who was sent to me by his wife. So it wasn't really his decision. She thought he should go and visit me and ask me to have a look on his body problems, because that man had always pain in his shoulders and his neck, and no doctor could find anything. So he came to me and he wasn't really open, but after he started talking, I got some pictures, and he told me about this pain in the neck and shoulder. And while he was talking, my inner eye looked at his astral body, more or less. That's what I perceived in a picture. And I saw sticking in his shoulder kind of, it was a Viking sword. And the funny thing is, that guy was very much into going to medieval markets and even fighting with other guys who loved the medieval epoch, and they were training with swords and things like that. So that already gave me the impression, okay, the weapon in his shoulder is some kind of overlap from a former incarnation as a Viking, because they hit and stab. That's what they did. They were very much about war, but they also had a great culture and some very ancient knowledge. So that's one side of the whole thing. I also had clients where I saw the same manner I described it with this guy with the medieval Viking sword in his shoulder. I had clients who had kind of arrows in their back, in the shoulder, in the neck, wherever. And these were more smaller things, but they were hurting as well in the body. And when I looked at these, I saw kind of a direct line going to the person who sent the arrow. And it wasn't a physical thing like in the story with the guy with the Viking sword in his shoulder. It was just a bad thought from another person who sent it purposefully or not. Most often we don't do it on purpose, but some people like to do that on purpose. They send bad energy and bad thoughts, and they talk bad about you or whatever. It's their mindset. They don't know better. You still don't understand that thoughts are things unmanifested, but they're going to manifest, especially when you load them with your vibrational energy of emotion, like anger or anxiety or hate or whatever. So all these negative thoughts that we send out, they do not only hurt the other in his auric field like a invisible astral weapon, because we are all one. And if you don't get it that way, I use the metaphor from quantum physics, which is saying more or less the same thing. We are all quantumly entangled. I don't see myself as different from other people. We are all one. So if I hurt another, I hurt myself. So the sender of some bad energy like that takes the form of kind of like an arrow that's sticking in your astral body, and I can see the dark energy because it's showing itself at something like something dark. You're not only hurting the other person, you're hurting yourself, because we are all one and we're all quantumly entangled. So if you worry about a person, your child may be going the wrong way, or a loved one doing something you think is totally wrong, you start to worry, and you send this energy, the thought energy, and it's dark. It's not light, it's not white, it's dark, because you worry and you're afraid that he will do something bad or get on the criminal record or whatever. You're doing no good if you worry about the ones you love. You should better send them good energy, love, and thoughts like, I know you're in trouble now, but you will make it. I believe in you. You've got a divine soul like every one of us, and this soul knows how to handle this life, and it knows its plan, even if you don't understand it or I don't understand it, and I don't even have to. The only one who has to understand it is you yourself, including me, myself. So we better send positive energy to the ones we love instead of worrying and creating by that things that are really not helpful. And with that, we are coming to the first principle of Hermeticism. That is, the universe is mental. It's the principle of mentalism. The first Hermetic principle goes like that: all is spirit or consciousness. The universe is mental, so it starts with what you think and how you think about yourself, your life, God and the world and the others. And if you can't think good of them, then it's your call to action to change your thoughts. And if you start to take a step back and just watch your thoughts, you can easily find out that not all your thoughts are really coming from yourself or are produced by yourself. Very often you find yourself being thought by your thoughts, and they are taking you where you don't want to go. So that's the right moment, the moment of power to say, stop, I don't want to go there. I want to think of positive things that are doing good for myself and for all the others, because in the end we're all one. So that's it for today. So much for that. I didn't want to do that because I thought, well, that's a difficult theme and somebody might feel offended, and I don't like that, but it's just truth. That's why I love the beloved Rumi Sufi, who said, meet me in the light beyond good and bad. So we're still in duality, thinking this or that, good or bad, and then we even judge good and bad. We have a consensus reality. We all can agree a tree is a tree, a house is a house. But we're all living in our own reality bubble, where my right might be wrong in your eyes. So take only what resonates with you, what feels true, and where your heart is starting to resonate and vibrate on the same frequency. So we can't even consent concerning the so-called outside reality about good and bad. So if we can't find a consensus about that, how can you even interfere with others who think differently? Well, you might think it's wrong. It might even feel wrong for you. Well, then the only thing is that you act upon that and you avoid this person or stay away or just don't engage and start to argue. It's not helping. Everybody has his own or her own state of consciousness, which is equal to the state of vibration. And you cannot force or convince another person of anything. The person has to be willing and open and has to feel the need or the want, him or herself, to change the own vibration. So, okay, I better stop here because I get a sign it's enough. Okay, thank you very much for watching. And I would like to interact a little bit more. So if you have some questions, I would love to read them in the comments so that we can start interact and I can address some of the things you want to know or would like to have a better clue about. And if I don't know how to answer, I'm going to ask the Elohim, who made very clear to me that they are not the 200, the so-called 200 fallen angels, Nephilim, Anunnaki, or descended rebellious angels, whatever. There's the story about the Sky Council, and it is said that there were 600 members. That's only symbolical. It's about the analogy or the metaphor about the 3/3. So they are the ones, the 200 or 1/3 of the whole Sky Council, that stayed in heaven to maintain balance with the 200 that descended and did something very egoistic and wrong. And the 200 who stayed in the heaven, they and many others are back now because it's the right time concerning the circles and cycles we are in right now. We are moving out of Kali Yuga, the dark age, and we're moving towards Satya Yuga in the Hindu calendar, which is the golden age. And we came from there because the cycle is coming from the Satya Yuga and going down to the nexus of the material world, transforming matter by coming from spirit, and then we're going out again, and that's the completion of a cycle. So right now we're at this pivotal moment where everybody has to go inside, because the solution, the answer is never outside. It's all built in here within. How many masters or Jesuses do we need to tell us the kingdom of the heavens is inside? It's inside your heart. So there where it all starts. Okay, enough now. Bye there. Thank you, beautiful souls, for watching, and I would love to hear some questions or something you want to share in the comments. Thank you very much. Bye. Blessed time. Love, light, and blessings to you.